My name's Anthony. My sobriety date is 8/9/17. I was desperate, you know what I mean? Like I was defeated. I didn't want to feel the feelings of going through the withdrawal symptoms. I didn't want to look at all of the stuff that I had been just pushing to the side during my using. And like, I knew that I was desperate and beaten up enough to where I knew I needed help, but I was so scared of having to like get the help and then deal with the reality afterwards. I needed, first of all, time to get away. Like I needed to be away from the daily, running of my drug use and everything else that comes with it. It gave me a place that like I could lay down and feel some serenity at night and not feel alone having people around me. It made me feel like, that this was necessary, that I needed to take this time for me and give myself a break. I remember being in about maybe 7 to 10 days in, and I started having a lot of those thoughts that I was familiar with, like maybe I don't really want to be here, or maybe this place isn't going to work for me, or maybe they're not going to be able to help me like I need help. Like all this just trying to control and dictate, all this stuff. And for me it would be like addict behavior, if you will. And that night we had this community meeting, and like we had to be addressed for like an issue that was going on in the community. And out of nowhere, there was an operations manager, and his name's Eric, I'm gonna say his name. And like, when he walked into the room to address us, like I remember feeling real nervous and kind of like, oh, what's he gonna say? What do we have to deal with now? And like, he addressed us in how I would word in a very spiritual way. Like the way he addressed us as a community, I felt the presence of like love and care, and that like, he really like wanted to point out to us what needed to be worked on, but he did it in such a way where it didn't feel like an attack. And I actually remember like shedding tears in that group, because for me it was a sign that like there was people around me that I was familiar with who addressed me like that in the past in recovery, and I felt like it was my sign that like there's people waiting for you to help you, and they're right here, just stick and stay. And that day I never looked back. I just felt like I didn't feel alone, and I needed that. I needed to be reminded that I'm not. I also needed to, there was a lot of outside 12-step fellowship programs that were coming in and bringing meetings to us. And I also needed to be reminded that that when I get out of here, recovery continues as well, and get me back to like the things I know that works, like, getting into a 12-step program, getting a sponsor, reading literature and learning how to apply it, finding that conscious contact with a higher power again, and learning how to, practice my relationship with it again. And like Recovery First gave me that time and gave me like the foundation to get that back. You don't have to do this alone. There's so many people who have felt the way you have felt, have all the fears and concerns that you have. They think, feel, and understand just the way you do. And my life is like amazing today, So I need to always look back and see where it started, and it started with Recovery First, and it's still there to this day.